I sit down at home, decided to watch some TV, listening to the news by Gordon Mosley. I listening to the things that he say he tracking tonight, paying close attention to make sure I hear it right. But when I hear the things that he mentioned on the news, I had to declare, them kind of thing got me confused. I hear some things where the ERC noticing, and it convinced people that people ain't learning nothing. We hear so many times about them big name calling, and they say ERC pretend that they didn't learn nothing. But once you're black, and you just decide to say a word or two, bet your life on that, they say ERC coming for you. Listen to the things you just hear on social media. Only one set of people allowed to talk in one Guyana. I still say nothing, black people in learning. But this is my concern. I hope one day black people will learn. ERC that I would like to know, if any of his members happens to be black people. And if that is the case, I want them to answer this call. Tell me how come none of them ain't got no voice at all. You're showing signs of weakness and you're afraid to be fair, and we see the same thing keep happening year after year. And the day will come when all this nonsense will stop. That will be the day when black people decide to wake up. Not so long ago, something terrible happened. This young Indian man want to kill out all black people, my boys son. But if his shoes was on the other foot, would have been a big threat. But up to this day, this ERC can't do nothing as yet. How come it's only black people committing cybercrime? When pretty on social media fussing people all the time, I still saying black people in learning. But one day will come when the entire table will turn. Issues we see that fail to condemn, because these people think that the law is only for them. And anybody else who decide to file a complaint, they go call you a racist and don't want to hear nothing. Plenty complaint from time to time has been brought to their attention, but because of this one-sided cybercrime is why they don't show any concern. There's only one set of people that they really care about, and black people must take the abuse and shut them out. The Dachi Amsterdam went to court just recently for an issue that was highlighted by the same ERC. And with pretext the police decide to jump on his case. Without a search warrant, they went and search up the man's place. Let us all agree that black people under attack. Different laws for you and me just because we black. still singing. Black people in London. To all my black friends, we must put a stop to all this nonsense. Cybercrime laws to keep people silent, just to make sure nobody criticize this government. And while that is a very case of dictatorship, it is no surprise that the ERC ignoring it. Why only the chosen few is allowed to have things their way, when people like me and you must have nothing to say? And when ministers in the government start to launch their attack, you never hear this ERC come out and talk about that. They send a policeman all the way to New York. This fella went up there to serve a customer on recall board. Under this thing, this government decide to fabricate a case, but like they forget the one and they get from black t-shirt jails. The vice president is prepared to use a shallow life. Because of this kind of abuse, he don't have a wife. I still singing. Black people in learning. Just the other day, I hope your man see help is on the way.
It's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday with Al Christie and popular DJs at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North.
Here, trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongley, looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. And then of course the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned, the decor is on point, the music's on point, everything's on point. So if you want to find a nice little place or you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is, Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongley, looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. Listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work. But everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place or you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Nam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. Put it on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out. A really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. Thank you.
Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabresa, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rob Street, Border.
All right, so you might be wondering where we are. Still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching the blind, matching the carpet, matching the this, matching the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely if you want to come and you may be having a wedding or whatever and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're going to be drunk. We got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come, drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. As some of those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page, and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. I'm sorry. That's it.
Don't be a victim. Beat the heat with EC Crystals. Party ice in large and small quantities. Call 682-7981 or visit us at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. EC Crystals, pure party ice. You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. Planning a party? Worry no more. We have all the supplies you need. At EC Party Rentals, we have folding chairs, folding tables, square tables, round tables, long tables, short tables, big tables. We have chairs, red chairs, gold chairs, white chairs, crystal chairs, chairs of all type, throne chairs. What you want, we have. Food warmers, coolers, ice, beverages. At EC Party Rentals, we have what you need to have a good time. You plan the party, we do the work. Call us 622-5933. EC Party Rentals. Let's keep your party going. Morning, neighbor, morning. Are you morning? Welcome to another program with the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is 16 minutes today, 8 o'clock. Oh, how have you been? How you been? Oh, you know. How was it yesterday? How was it last night? What did you accomplish yesterday? What gave you hope? Not only for yourself and your community, but what gave you hope for this society? Talk to me. I need to know. You know, I'll tell you what gives me hope. Every day I wake up, I see another scandal. Or before I go to bed, I see another scandal coming out of the PPP scam. And that gives me hope. It gives me hope that Guyanese will recognize that it's a criminal cabal they got in office, masquerading as a government, and therefore see the need to remove them from government at the next election. So I become hopeful every time I see another scandal, boss, as them by say. Every time I see another scandal, I say, Bob, I hope Guyanese are paying attention, especially Guyanese young people, because to a large extent, you know, they say when you reach a certain age, you ain't changing nothing in life. You don't reach there, you know. You've been there, you done that. As some people say, they're about long. And to hold a cat to be by a kitten, right? So the elders, most for the greater part, have gone through the mill already, and they've seen what they've seen. They know what they've known, what they know, and they have already made a determination, and they will stick with that. It is the young people who are trying to find their way, and I say they're trying to find their way. Sometimes we cause them out. Thinking that they ought to know better, but they're still trying to find their way. Part of the challenge is that in trying to find your way, you're supposed to listen to some wisdom and some guidance and so on and so forth. Right? Old people set in their ways, but young people are trying to find their ways. And so when I see these scandals, I say, Bam, I hope this is another learning moment and teachable moment for the youths. I hope so. And I become hopeful that they will really, really take the lessons that these situations present, and they will sit back and they will do the necessary analysis and realize these people masquerading as the best thing after sliced bread for Guyana are nothing but a set of corrupt, selfish rascals. Let me call them that. So this morning we're going to talk about some of them selfishness and IPAS and so on the working poor in this country. But I tell you, like Ram Kelawan, yes, you have to work for what you want. That's a given. By the sweat of thy brow thou shalt eat bread. Yeah, share the life no man. By the sweat of thy brow thou shalt eat bread. But even as I quote that, I quote also, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet lose his soul? And again, I quote, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. But Ram Kelawan, do you understand anything that I've spoken about here? Huh? What does it mean by the sweat of thy brow thou shalt eat bread? You must labor, you must toil, you must put in the work to get what you want. But while I'm putting in the work to get what I want, you have to give unto me what is mine. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Right? So if I'm putting in the work 24/7 and you're paying me starvation wages, I'm not getting my just due. I'm not getting my just due. And if you're robbing me of my just due, then you're not giving me what is due unto me. You're not following the same things you're trying to tell me, that I must work for what I want. But when I'm working for what I want, you start changing me. I'm telling one. And since you start changing me, how do you expect me to get out of this situation of poverty? But you don't want me to get out of poverty. You want me to stay in poverty so you can continue to manipulate me, and you can continue to manipulate my children, and you can continue to sexually exploit us. Right? Are you following me? A lot of people might tell themselves that the policies of the PPP reflect a country or a government that is unable to do better. No. It is a government that is unwilling to do better. Unwilling to do better. Because the recognition is, if we do better for the people, then they're not necessarily going to come and grovel at our feet for the little that the little morsels that we're offering. But yeah, people must work for what they want, and no government have to mind the lazy. No, government don't. The government doesn't have to mind any lazy people. But governments have to put in place policies that will ensure, number one, fair employment practices, and number two, in that fair employment practices, fair remuneration packages. I saw it yesterday. I must look for it again. I can't remember where I saw it. But Melly Mel posted yesterday what I would consider the pay grades of people working in a particular ministry, I guess. And I really think I should look for it indeed. I really think I should look for it so that you can see, right? You can see what I'm talking about, what I'm really talking about. Right? In terms of not paying people they just due. Where are my online producers? Y'all send the thing to me, man. Because I don't really, most times when I'm on program, it becomes difficult for me to multitask to find stuff. But like I was saying, if I'm working and you're not paying me adequately, then I can't pull myself out of poverty. I'm forever dependent on you. Somebody's asking about the protest at GCOM. It starts around 12. I can't pull myself out of poverty. And if the policies of the government are not aimed at lifting people out of poverty, then I will remain in poverty. And my generations will remain in poverty because I can't do anything for them. And then you blame me for being lazy when the records show that I'm always willing to work and I'm always working. But the oppressive policies of the government is what is keeping me in poverty. But when Kellerman comes and tells us, you gotta work for what you want. Government is supposed to mind lazy people. That is true. But when Kellerman, I will also say to you that while you're saying you gotta work for what you want, I want to add honesty. Because a lot of you folks who come and tell us that we must work for what we want are stealing to get what you want. You are stealing to get what you want. And there's no question about that. Ramkelawan, I want you to explain how a man that is dirt poor becomes a multi-billionaire in 4 years in office as the Minister of Government. I want y'all to explain that. I want y'all to explain how a woman or some confused person who they drive in the wrong some old car becomes a multi-millionaire in 4 years of being in government. If they're just working for what they want, if they work.
Companies started to develop, started to have more staffing, more management started to come.
I want you all to tell me that. This morning I'm leaning on Travis Chase and Melly Mel for the receipts, as they say. Yeah, I get the receipts. See this receipt, eh? This one is about a man named Mustafa. Y'all know him? He's the Minister of Agriculture. He's the man who apparently has an innate hatred for African Guyanese. And anything that he can do to oppress them, he will do. Like digging a canal straight through the villages of Manchester, Liverpool, and Lancaster area there. Y'all listen to this interview from Travis Chase. And I want Ramkelawan or whatever he name, I don't remember the name too long, to tell us if that is what he considers working for what you want. I call it theft of public property. I call it corruption. I call it malfeasance. I call it conflicts of interest. But Ramkelawan calls it working for your what? Yeah, thieving is working too.
Yeah. What is your name? My name is Jeremy Dundas. And yours? Okay. Dundas, tell me your story. Okay, Mr. Travis Chase. Well, basically, I started Western Logistics in 2022. There's a third week in February. I started there working there as a junior coordinator, right? My job responsibility as a junior coordinator is arranging transportation, hotel accommodation, and dealing with all the logistic aspects of the company, right? So while I was working there, some hands-on training was given to me. And from there, I worked there pretty well. After a while, the company started to develop, started to have more staffing, more management started to come, because the company started to develop more, right? Due to more clients coming in and what's not. So after from there, when these managers started increasing there, the entire working culture of the company started to change, right? Whereby we saw always being treated, the HR was present there, John Nassim, that's his name, yeah. He was actually, getting instruction for the managers to, holler on us, entreat us. You understand these kind of things. So from there now, what we started to see the working culture change, it was not very conducive for us to work there because the toxic environment, you can't be able to, perform in your job, a lot of things was playing with your psychology. Anyway, on April, I went on leave. When I came back now, I was in engagement with Mr. Pradeep. And then eventually we had a little, misunderstanding, and I did walk off the job. That was on May the 12th, right? When I walk off the job, I went and get another job. It was September, I was employed with another company. It was a recruiting agency. Okay, when I was employed there, everything was laying down. Nothing of the sort wasn't attacked upon me. It wasn't coming after me. So I don't know what was really going on from there, right? Mr. Lake, like the Jaguar, I pay my condolences to him. He was actually forced when I leave. He reached out to me very wholeheartedly and said, Jeremy, man, he's a very good staff and, we need you back. I said, Mr. Jaguar, due to the toxic environment, I cannot come back. right? He's the only person within that company that shows the love and keep the peace among his people, right? Among us and what's now. Anyway, on January, the early part of January, right? I saw Western Logistics make a post of 3 employees, which I was included in that, right? And as well, my colleague here and another colleague, that we was given information to Miss Mel, which I don't have those sort of information, right? Now, my job, most of the time, I work from home to the airport, right? That's being the night. From the airport, when I drop off clients, I head back straight to my home. If I work day and night, right, I take 2 days off within the week. So there's no point in time that I be able to have this information on the company or knows about this company. You get what I'm saying, right? So when I saw this post stipulating that I was the person giving information to other colleagues, it kind of shocked me, right? And there was a there was an attack upon my reputation. But my company did not worry about it. They sustained it because they find it very childish. I find it very childish to react to something like that. So I indicated to them when I now got employed with them, I say here, since I come to work with you guys, this company going to attack me in some form because I see it happen with previous staff being victimized, being attacked because they have certain connection with other managers in companies. And we saw, staffs then being, laid off, terminated without any form of explanation. So we saw that as a coup, and we saw that, they practice in this practice, towards us. Anyway, I warned my company about it, and when they saw the post, they already was notified about, that attack. So eventually, they told me that I'm secure for my job, need not to worry because they know the background about this company. They've heard a lot of stories about it, what they do to staff, and they keep me on the job. Now, on the 20th of January, I got a message from one of a taxi driver that normally drop into Breeden that I'm wanted, right? I wanted to know what I am wanted for. When I saw the post, I wanted for fraud, right? And I want to know how I wanted for fraud. Was the amount on the fraud that I wanted for? Right. So I got a bit scared and I say, you know what, this is an attack upon my reputation. Eventually, I told myself, I contacted Mr. Nigel and he took us to the station, right? He asked me some basic questions. I told him that in my job scope, I never had any financial transaction. There's no point in time that my job required me handling checks or handling any money. All those money was handled by the finance department, right? My job was just arranging these transportation, looking out for all the logistics aspect of the company. Anyway, when we went into the police now, the police had mentioned, well, I was advised from lawyer not to speak. He's going to speak on our behalf. And he had told the police, the police's corporate Assad, that we are being this guy, we are wanted for $6.9 million in fraud. We was issuing checks then. I wanted to know how come I'm a part of those checks because I never handled any check, right? So the police started saying, well, we got to go through the protocol. You got to be locked up for 72 hours until we carry out an entire investigation into this matter. So while I was in the lockup, right, people was calling me Mel and did that in there. So I wanted to know how come I kind of involved in this here, right? Now, my wife had tried to bring some food to me in that lockup, and the police said that you can't give any food, right? Because I asked her, I said, man, how come you didn't come to visit the station or bring any food? They said the police tell me I can't give you no food because 2 times you show up here. So I was entreated as well, by the police as well. So it kind of tell upon my psychology because I was telling my colleague in the lockup is that this ain't gonna kick me out of the job, right? Eventually now when I got home, I saw the email, Jeremy, you're sent on administrative leave. Because of this what happened to you, we as a company very afraid if we being victimized as well. Because they say you're a part of us, right? We're gonna be victimized. And we can't have here because we can lose a lot. Because we see previously what happened to other companies in the past. So they were fearful on their behalf. So that kind of troubled me a bit because it's like, I have 3 kids to take care of. For the past 3 weeks, my kids come to go to school because I can't be able to provide for them, right? Especially our daily meals, I can't be able to provide that for them, right? It's only the grace of God is taking us through and only the grace of God is helping us through this situation. Now, my wife is pregnant as well, coming with a full child, right? Now she's rolling in pain. A lot of complications happen with her. I don't have any finance to take her there. So what I see, right, is not the Mellymen post. I saw that Western Logistics used this as an opportunity to tarnish my reputation. Mellymen was just an excuse, right? Because I saw it happen to other staff before us. Their reputation was attacked, right? And tried to get them fired from their job, right? So that is what I saw, and that is what I see. There was an opportunity that attacked me to get me out of my job, because I have them on my WhatsApp. You see my status then. I said thankful for the job that I have, thank God for the job that He gave me, right? I reach a very, professional employers that treat me well, right? And I don't know what they see that and they created jealousy in them and envy in them to attack me and get rid of me. Now, going back to the police, matter. Now, the police sergeant said we got a report. Oh, before I get there, when I was released from the lockup, they actually sent back a jeepload of 3 policemen. These, I don't know if it was policemen or it was hitmen, right? The police did not have any uniform to identify if they were police. I have pictures today, I give it over to my lawyer, right? They come and say, young man, come downstairs. So I turn and tell them what I'm come downstairs for. I do not know you guys. They never identified me as police. They just come downstairs, we want to talk to you, right? I said, cannot come downstairs and talk to you. I said, what is the problem? So we just get a wire that you're home. So I don't know who they were getting instruction from, right? The police vehicle did not have a police logo. Nobody was in attire of a police uniform. Nobody had a police badge. So I don't know if they sent people after me, right? Anyway, I sent my wife out. I just got released on the lockup. My wife got a bail receipt and she went and showed them, right? My father even videoed the whole entire, the whole entire scene what happened to take place there. So video them, keep it as evidence. Anyway, when she went down, he said, I have to take instruction from one of my boss. So he went on his phone, taking instruction from one of his boss, and my wife showed that receipt. Eventually now they left, right? So the whole entire thing, if they could attack me with the police, victimize me, destroy me out of my job, not only me, but his entire, my little children that is under 5 years old are suffering in this. My sick dad is suffering this. My child, my brother's right to CXC, 16 CXC subject abstinence on his last, is suffering in this, right? I'm very fearful for my life because the feedback that we are getting, everybody is telling us, both me and my colleague, be very careful.
Let me ask you a question. Who owns Western Logistics?
Well, so far I know is his brother, right?
Who's his?
His brother is Mr. Jagran Prasad and Pradip Ramatar. Those are the only two that I'm very much, familiar with. Yes.
During your period of Western Logistics, have you had any interactions with Minister Deodat Hindar?
Well, I saw him one time, right, at the staff party, and that was basically about it. I never, had no form of more interaction with him. Yeah.
You think he's running the company?
Well, to answer to that, Mr. Travis, if you take a walk on the West Coast, those people have those information. They will tell you definitely what you need to know. They will tell you.
So where are you right now in terms of your safety and your security?
Well, my safety is on the West Coast. I'm with my dad right about now, right? That's where I'm on the West Coast.
Did the police question? Did they take a statement from you?
They did not take any statement from me. All they just tell me, call them Wednesday, call them Friday, which I saved the call log when I was calling them. Because normally I know when you go to the police and report them, you're supposed to lodge yourself. But the police never take a lodging from me when I present there, what date I was there, what time I was there.
Since the wanted bulletin was issued for you, did you get any call from Western Logistics?
Never had any call. The managers never reach out to me. The police never reach out to me because I know normally if someone commits a crime or allegation go against him, right, the police would call you into question pertaining to this matter and take a statement from me, right? The police never take a statement from me. They never question me. All of a sudden, I wanted as the biggest criminal in the whole entire Guyana.
So you believe that Western Logistics targeted you because they believe you were giving information to Melissa as well?
That's correct.
Any closing remarks?
Well, I'm just fearful for my life. You know, my kids then is kind of suffering. And, you know, as a father, seeing them not getting into school, provide their meals is telling a lot on my psychology, especially the damage on my reputation. Because I tried to reach out to get a job, but they said you are really scared as well. So that is my remarks.
Thank you. What's your name?
Alhamdulillah.
What's your story?
Basically, it's the same story as Jordan's as my thing, but mine is more in terms of the tarnishing of my reputation, basically, and the way how the police handled the story or handled this whole situation. I started working at Western Logistics in 2023. I started off as a procurement officer. So while at Western Logistics, during my time there, I was subjected to discrimination to some extent. I was discriminated. I saw it as harassment because of my sexuality. Right. I was subjected to comments from managers, and more so Joseph Ramjan and Monish Gopi. Those are the persons who has been making comments about me basically, with the whole sexuality stuff that you're gay. Not telling me I'm gay, but asking staff. Right. Asking staff about my sexuality, or what are your opinions about it, and all of that. So while working there, I really started off fresh. Wanted to do the job. I started off fresh. I started, but I had to do. My performance was on point, but the minute when I heard all of these things coming from them, from management basically, because those persons they certain management positions, my performance declined. Right, I didn't want to, and like you said. The toxic environment, the working environment has become very toxic. And so I sent in a resignation letter. And just as I sent in that resignation letter, it all came with a really key information to Melissa and Hatfield about the company, all the company's information. Because everybody everybody who works at Western Logistics, right, knows who owns the company. Because we would normally see the minister coming into the company. He would come in and be bad plus staff and this and that and leave, right? His wife would come in the company, that same thing. Sometimes, the way they speak to staff is not nice at all. There were a few times where I was subjected to harsh, I won't say harsh. Let's say they talk to me harshly, then, especially Mr. Pradeep Ramotar. Which is embarrassed about it. That is the type of environment that caused me to hand in my resignation and immediately effect. I didn't want to be in that environment. And so when I left, that's when this whole allegation of leaking information, and then they had a press statement on their Facebook page of 3 former staff, including myself, that we were leaking information and fraud and all of that. Now, these persons never called, and I can testify to them never making contact to me via calls, via WhatsApp. But they're viewing my statuses. They're seeing them online. They could have reached out to me in that sense, but no, they didn't do that.
Right. So you too, after you resigned, you saw all these allegations about you committing fraud and all that. Right. How much financial transactions for the company you did with? If any at all.
I was a procurement, so in this case, on Mondays, the finance officers, both Joseph and Manish, they would normally be in office at Eccles. They would be over in tuition. So while they're away, I would normally take over their responsibilities, paying cash, paying clients, paying vendors, issuing checks and stuff like that.
So you said you were employed by Western Logistics from February?
From July of 2023.
And who paid your salaries?
If I have to check my bank statements, I'm going to see that some of my salaries came directly from Western Logistics. And on 3 or 4 occasions, if I have to check, I'll see that the Indar actually paid my salary.
Paid your salary, right?
Because that amount that was paid on that month, it was my salary, so it came from him.
Okay. You too were fearful for your life?
Yeah, because on record, Pradeep Ramotar, which is the CEO of the company, the other Indar's brother, he showed up to my apartment the Thursday before they wanted to look at what went up on Facebook. He showed up to my apartment looking for me and my sister. Right? For one, I have no knowledge. He didn't want with no letter. I didn't see any police. No, he just showed up everything.
So you two were locked up as well, right?
I was, yes.
Right. And did the police take a statement from him?
No, they didn't. They haven't taken any statement from him.
No statement. No. Just detained you for 72 hours.
72 hours. We were denied phone calls. It's your right to at least have a phone call to speak to a lawyer or to whoever. We were denied phone calls. Persons who were really worried about, concerned about the situation showed up there to give support, but they were also denied of seeing.
So who do you believe is behind this whole operation in the group? Who do you believe is behind it?
Project Ramatar
And the ministry.
Yeah, because if Project Ramatar can show up to my apartment without even a letter or anything, whatever the case is, then obviously with you.
So there's a prime example of how one set of people just work for what they want. They work with deceit, theft, insider trading, criminalization of people when they disagree with them. That's how they work for what they want. Right? But they will come and they will tell you, like Barrio, the doctor that Travis interviewed, you also have yourself, everything I earned, I worked for. That's Sharon Greaves. Everything I earned, I worked for. I earned it legitimately. But when you dig, and you dig enough, you come to understand what is legitimate in their minds. A set of corrupt practices. I said I was asking one of the online producers to send me the salary story. Look, I got it. I'm going to post it up for you. I'll look at it. And I want you all to tell me, because I'm right, I'm spreading it out. So you're going to see it big and proper. I'm right. You must work for what you want. Are we working for what we want? But if you're not a permanent secretary getting almost 800,000, or you're a ministerial advisor getting almost $1 million, or you're an administrative assistant, we are living at the admin assistant, we can't go there. When you look at the permanent secretary or ministerial advisor, do you know that they're political appointments? They got some ministerial advisor money, and some people say they would see the name on the cake and eat it. Because they're politically appointed. They might be good, loyal party servants, not necessarily technically educated or got any special education that they're advising the minister. They might just be a good yes man or yes woman, but they draw in excess of $900,000. Like I said, the permanent secretaries are politically appointed. At least that's how the PPP got it. So they get almost $800,000. But when you come to an administrative assistant, look at the money that they get. $118,000 below the minimum wage, right? Well, I guess they're gonna adjust it to $130,000 because they said it's the minimum now. Yeah, the most they've seen is 246. Let's say $250 million, $250,000. But a liaison officer, $133,000, a photographer, $153,000, a technical assistant. Again, a technical assistant. The ministers get to choose who they want as the technical assistant. They could bring in Dunstog from Freedom House and make them technical assistant. But you gotta work for what you want. A cleaner works like a dog. I will tell you that. A cleaner works, as I say, walking like a donkey and treating like a junkie. A cleaner works, and as I'm talking about the cleaner working, it is alleged that the First Lady takes her cleaners and maids and other staff to work not only in her home only, but they want to double dip. They have to work at some business, some cafeteria, some catering service, some food business she got. But look at the money our cleaners are paid. The most they could look forward to is $95,000. Well, I guess now the PPP is still cleaners' money down low all the time. At least those around the schools. But let me say they could look forward to $95,000. Monitoring and evaluation officer, 189. A data entry clerk, 86,000 or 90,000. Look what a confidential secretary gets. $147,000. But the director general gets what? 676. A focal point officer gets 123. Personal assistant to the minister, $307,000. Personal assistant to the minister, not a politically appointed person. Office assistant. Usually I consider them the runner boys or runner girls, $80,000. An economist who spends more years in school acquiring his or her education than most ministers of government and most personal assistants and so on, gets $177,000 according to this salary scale. Now let me continue. In short, if you look at his salary scale, you will see, look, a maid gets $89,000. A clerk of works gets $111,000. So these are ordinary rank and file citizens. That's what they get paid. But they work. They're working for what they want. But they can't get what they want because the government is paying enough to get what they want. They're not being lifted out of poverty because the government is paying starvation wages. I said yesterday the government were paying people adequately. Then they didn't have to get this grant and that grant and this assistance and that assistance and the other assistance. And if you can't look at this salary scale and recognize that policies like these keep people in poverty and oppressed, and you are supporting a government that does that, you're sick in your head. You're sick in your head. I said it before and I'm saying it again. The PPP has a policy of pauperizing the ordinary citizens of this country. When Omai came to this country, when Teleperformance, I think, came to this country, when Atlantic Telenetwork came to this country, all of them were willing to pay Guyanese in a similar manner they were paying their overseas workers, US-based workers. It was the PPP government that said, no, you can't do it. Because if you pay them at such good rates, then you're going to create a problem for us. Number one, people will demand in the public service, increasing wages and salaries. And number two, people will leave the public service. And so you'll create a shortage of labor for us. You have to pay them at the same rates or almost similar rates that we're paying as a government. Expats are supposed to come to your country. FDI, foreign direct investors, are supposed to come to your country and improve conditions of work, wages and salaries included, and so on. That is why a lot of people gravitate to work with them. But the PPP's policy from then, and even now, is no, you can't pay them at such good rates. Find out what people get paid. A lot of people talk about working with Exxon and Exxon affiliated companies onshore and so on and so forth. Find out what they get paid compared to their foreign counterparts. Chalk the cheese. So while we recognize that people get what they want, people will never get what they want. With a government like the PPP that has a policy to keep them in poverty, so that they can give them a grant here and give them a grant there and got them groveling at the feet and believing that they're the best thing after sliced bread for Guyana when it comes to governance. And like I said, when I see scandals like the one we just showed the interview about, a sitting minister of government owning a company, a sitting minister of government owning a multiplicity of businesses, while a sitting minister of government, people who you know were kicking brick when they were out of government, turned overnight multi-millionaire and multi-billionaire. I am hopeful that when people pay attention to these things, they will put the PPP out of office. Because the PPP, again, I'm saying, is not good for this country. Can be good for this country. A minimum wage of approximately $600 US a month, $20 US a day in an oil producing economy, where prices are going to the sky. Is that how we plan lifting people out of poverty? I can tell you what will happen, and it is happening already, and it will continue to happen. Those who don't have it will turn up at your door. So y'all continue to use the PPP. The lines are opened. 6225933 is the number to call. It's 8 hours 27th on the 11th day of February in the year 2025. Club Twilight presents Big People Always Dance on every Thursday. Yes. Club Twilight presents the Big People Always Dance every Thursday beginning on the 28th of February. Music is by Blue Ribbon the Boss. Come out and have a time. Come out and have a time. Admission is free. Call your life. Call it on.
Yeah, good morning, Brother Kadaki, and good morning to the rest of Guyana. First, let me remind the viewing public on your program this morning that there will be a protest outside of GCOM for a clean voters list and biometrics. It is very important that everyone make an effort to attend that protest, because if we do not make a stand now for a clean voters list and biometrics, the PPP will be upcoming regional and general elections, and you will face 5 more years of what is going on now. Even then, it will be more worse. It will be more worse. I plead to people, go out there. Please go out there and support that protest. Secondly, brother, we got to put our shoulders together. This government has to go. The PPP has to go. There's no if about it. You see all these scandals and this is going on. Gotta go. We gotta go. I see these people to stand up or rise up. Don't wait for Aubrey to tell you what you got to do. Don't wait for brother. Oh, you gotta do. Once you keep it with the law and you commit yourself, be clever, be clandestine in your move. Do what you have to do. This government must go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the call. We got a government that is bent on discrimination. I'll tell you a story that I heard coming out of Lusignan Market. You notice Lusignan got a spanking new covered market. While places like Buxton, people got to sit bend down on a so-called tarmac, exposed to the weather and so on and so forth. Don't lose sight of that. The PPP and their representatives went to the Lusignan market. Whenever they went to the Lusignan market and they spoke with the vendors and they say, listen, we're going to get your cash grant payments for you. You ain't not got no way, man. We will announce when you're going to come to the Lusignan Community Center, the Lusignan NDC, and you'll collect a cash grant. I understand yesterday was the day when you had to go there to collect a cash grant. People turned up, there were 95 checks issued. Why ask him in face when attacking these things? 95 checks were issued at the Lusignan NDC yesterday. The vendors from the Lusignan market. If you want to go to Lusignan market on a Friday, you'll see that there are Indo-Guyanese vendors in the majority, and you'll also see African Guyanese vendors there, and other ethnicities in the minority. So the Lusignan market vendors, they're not 100% Indo-Guyanese. But every single check that was paid out yesterday was paid out in Indo-Guyanese. Every single check that was paid out to vendors at Lusignan market was paid out to an Indo-Guyanese. But we must work for what we want. But while we're working for what we want, and the government is distributing our resources, are they being fair to us? I want you all to answer that. I know the answer, meaning we got to provide it. Are they being fair to us?
Kadaki, blessings and good morning, my brother, to you and our listeners. Kadaki, nobody do have to put the PPP out of office. The PPP putting themselves out of office. Because the things that they're doing blatant in the eyes, understanding, brought to my understanding, that is alleged that the FBI will make their appearance in Guyana anytime to deal with this corrupt PPP. People like Jack Dale and Nalala and these guys, the PPP is a dog government, because the things that they're doing. The FBI, they brought to my understanding that is alleged that they will be making their appearance there any moment, because Trump understand what it is.
Morning, neighbor, morning. How you morning? Morning, how you morning? Give me a thumbs up. Verify that you're getting good audio. Morning, welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 19 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour on the 12th day of February in the year 2025. For those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day is 2 days away. That's on Friday. Good Club Twilight is available. You can come and have a relaxing evening. Get some drinks, get some love, and if you want to overnight, you can do so at Lose Airbnb. Yes, but in the meantime, tell me what went on yesterday. How was your yesterday? How did you feel? How did you get through yesterday? What were you able to achieve yesterday? Are you satisfied that your efforts were well rewarded yesterday? What gives you hope? Are you convinced that we are in an election year? So let me ask you, are you convinced that we're going to get free, fair, and credible elections? Have you been paying attention to all of the maneuverings? What about your health? How are you this morning? Well rested and rejuvenated? You running on all cylinders? You all talk to me. I like to know. And, I usually don't ask these questions for asking them sake. Have you been paying attention to the Dirty Tricks campaign of the PPP? It's going to get nasty in this country. It's an election year, and it always gets nasty in this country. In an election year, the PPP always ensures that somebody dies. Political murders take place in an election year in this country. At least we've seen that happening when the PPP is in office. Character assassinations take place when the PPP is in office and it's an election year. Well, a good vice president did tell you all. He said, well, if you're going to throw your hat in the ring, then expect closer scrutiny. Have you been paying attention to what they're doing to Dr. Terence Campbell? Yesterday we saw allegations of rape being made against someone that perhaps the PPP perceives as an opponent in the upcoming elections. Because I haven't heard any announcement from that particular individual nor the camp that they're running for elections. Good. But it's Wednesday and the doctor is in the house. And on Wednesday, we talk with Dr. HINDS about the issues in the society. And so today we definitely will be talking with Dr. HINDS about the issues in the society. Let me remind you that Club Twilight presents on the 27th of February. That's the Thursday, 27th of February, and every Thursday thereafter. Big People Oldies Dance with Blue Ribbon the Boss. Yes. On the 27th of February and every Thursday thereafter, Club Twilight presents the Big People Oldies Dance with Blue Ribbon the Boss. Come out and have a good time. Admission on the 27th is free. It's a Thursday evening. Come out and have some fun. Tell the boss you don't see yourself walking the next day. It happens, Everybody needs a mental day. Everybody needs a mental day. So come out and have some fun. Tomorrow night, it's karaoke night at Club Twilight. It's another Thursday. So come on down and let's have some fun. Karaoke. Popular DJs in the house. Some of you can have a pre-Valentine line because the atmosphere is going to be warm and friendly for a pre-Valentine line. You can start it early. Good? And make it a 48 instead of a 24. Yes. So y'all talk to me. How y'all been, man? What? Y'all didn't tell me nothing. Somebody sent me a photograph of the school's feeding program, the meal, breakfast or whatever it is. that, our children are getting. As part of this feeding program. That a lot of noise is being made about. I know what a meal it is. Oh, what a meal it is. The photograph is something of, I think they say waffle. Yeah. In the bath, they call it waffle. We call it, y'all know in dagmat or titilati. Yeah. Titilati, dagmat, dulce. That's what we call it. I don't know. I think all Americans call it pancakes. And so our children are giving pancakes at the breakfast program. Take a look there. Oh, you all seeing it. Pancakes! That's what they're giving the children for breakfast. I wonder how helpful that is. Pancakes. I wonder if you have any proteins with all of that starch content. You didn't get a boiled egg, you didn't get a fried egg, you didn't get a sausage, you didn't get. Listen, we just gotta give them something to say we giving them something. Let me just give them some pancakes this morning because the money we're paying, we can't work anyhow. Dr. Hans, good morning. Welcome to the program. How are you doing?
I am doing fine, thanks.
Good. Happy to have you. You missed last week. You're gonna get punished for missing the classroom.
My apologies.
Yeah. Yes, I understand. Lots of things have been happening prior to last weekend, in this week. But let me, before it slips me, this is African History Month, February is African History Month. And usually many of us make this month pass quietly by. So I don't know if there's anything you want to reflect on when it comes to African history and the struggle, especially Guyanese history, before we start to discuss what I will consider current issues.
Yeah, well, in fairness to us, we are doing what we're getting a feedback. I'm getting a feedback.
Where would that be coming from? Let me see.
But we're doing much better now. Yeah, it's still there.
Is it gone up?
No.
Then it might be from you.
I doubt it. I don't know.
Check again.
Test 1, 2, 3. Still the feedback. I can log out and come back.
You're still getting the feedback?
Yes.
I don't see any social feedback here.
All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm still getting a feedback.
Check 1, 2. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
With any echo or so?
No, I'm not getting an echo from you. It is lower now. There's still a feedback, but it is a little bit low.
I don't know. I'm on one mic. I don't know. If you're comfortable, if you're comfortable, let's know. Otherwise, we'll have to work on fixing it. Like you said, we want to try logging out and come back in.
Yeah,
I don't know. I hope that solves the problem. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me clearly, viewers? Is there any echo? Is there any feedback from this end? Just hit me up, let me know. Americans call it hot cakes, and that is box pancakes. It's not even you know, and that's the thing. So are we good there now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lord, it's worse now.
It has to be over during though. I'm not getting any echo here. Viewers are hearing me loudly and clearly. Were you looking at anything on your phone? Do you have your phone on? Television on?
No.
You logged into 2 places. You know, these are things you will have to check for.
No. I can tell you none of those things. No.
Okay, viewers, how bad is the feedback? Is it affecting you? Let me go to ask that. I mean, it would be somewhat distracting to you, Doctor. Is what?
Yes, it's distracting.
Uh-huh. Yes, Dennis and others. Thank you for indicating no feedback from my end. So I don't know what's happening over Dr. Hines' end.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. It's not going away.
All right, well, Dr. Hines figures out what's happening. Oh, he's back again.
No,
I'm here.
It's just that the feedback. Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can proceed. The viewer say it's not bothering them really. So you were we were talking about historical reflections before we proceed.
Wow.
What could it be? Not your phone. You check your phone?
My phone are off on silent. So it can't be my phone. I don't know what could be causing. I don't know.
Is Facebook? Are you logged into Facebook? Open anything there? Like the current program?
No. Nope.
All right. Something going on though. Yeah, everybody's confirming it's coming from your end. Unless you want to shut down the computer and reopen it.
I don't know what it is. Well, it's
so
gone.
If you shut down the computer, every program should.
Hold on, let me see. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. It's very low now. Well, it's back.
I would suggest you shut the computer down or restart it. So you kill every program that's running and then you start afresh.
Okay.
Yes, folks. So I want to hear from you. I mean, tomorrow is Thursday. Mr. John is going to be on. Then Friday we have Free Talk Friday. We're going to have a whole lot to talk about Free Talk Friday, right? A whole lot. But listen, things are going quick and fast, as people like to say. Things are going quick and fast in this country, and so every day is a scandal, if I can call it that. Every day is a scandal. How are you keeping up with the scandals? How much of what you're seeing right now is believable? That's what I want to ask. How much is believable? The vice president say he doesn't know anything about
land being given to a man, and you almost have CHNP. Is it enough to have a senior government official as senior as a vice president, or be the third vice president, I think, or the president or the attorney general saying, listen, we don't know what's happening over in that ministry. Y'all need to go and find out from them. Ministers are the servants or the helpers of the president. And so when the vice president and other senior government officials declare that we don't know what's happening over there, is it acceptable? It's like you have a manager who has middle-level management as in supervisors, and then something goes wrong, and that manager tells you, I don't know what they were doing. What do you do with a manager like that? I see it as dereliction of duty. I see it as incompetence. Or I see it as someone claiming plausible deniability. But is there plausible deniability there? Is it possible that these folks don't know what's happening in the government? How much of that is believable? I want to know. I really want to know. How much of that is believable? And if you believe it, you could tell me that you believe it. Yeah, doctor, is it back together?
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. I've changed to another computer, another room. Same thing.
Well, maybe you got a listening device in your house.
I'm sure it's not coming from this head.
Yeah.
I said I'm very sure it's not coming from my head.
Listen, let's just go on. I don't think it's bothering the viewers. I guess you'll have to. Well, as I was saying, I guess you'll have to focus a little harder. Right. So the ball is in your court. We're talking about that little historical.
No, I was saying that we are doing much better now with Black History Month and dealing with Black issues. I don't think we're as bad as we used to be. You know, so I think in some regards the PPP has done us a wonderful favor because they've mobilized help us to mobilize that attention to their African condition. So I see people now wear African clothes to go to weddings, to go to funerals, to go to parties. You know, there is more consciousness now than 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So I think that's a positive thing. We have to keep working on it.
Definitely. In the news documents, we saw recently that Mocha case. Remember the destruction of the homes of the folks who were at Cane View, right? At Mocha there, and the homes were destroyed. They were displaced in the name of the heroes that were, I think, passing in that area. And there it was, some of them went to court, and the Chief Justice ruled that they didn't make their case. They didn't make their case. And so, as a result of them not making their case, not only have they lost what they would have sacrificed to achieve over the years, but they are now faced with a judgment that says that they must pay the government cost. What are your thoughts on the whole situation there? Because even those persons who, a lot of people are arguing that they should have accepted the government's offer for relocation, etc. But I've seen evidence that even those who have accepted the offer to relocate, they are still in dire straits. Many of the homes are not completed. The government has not kept a lot of its promises to them and so on. What are your thoughts on that whole situation over there?
Well, I want to deal with the case and the ruling. As you know, I'm very careful when it comes to our institutions. I think we have to be very careful not to demonize our institutions because it comes back to haunt us. Look at the way in which the PPP has demonized the police force, army, over a period of time. And Indian Guyanese have contempt for the police and the army. That, you know, when the PPP tried to get them to join, they wouldn't join. Why would they join something that you've demonized over the years? So I want to be very careful not to encourage our supporters to demonize the courts and the officers of the court. A lot of the rulings dating back to 2020 has gone against the opposition, so to speak. And it's frustrating to our supporters. And there is that temptation to, you know, demonize the court, demonize the judges, and so forth. I don't want to encourage that. In the same way, I don't want to encourage the demonization of the CCJ, demonization of CARICOM, and so on, because CARICOM has not always played the role that they play now, and our High Court has not always been the way it is. I think our courts in the Caribbean tend to be very conservative in their rulings. And when you're faced with the situation that we are faced with in Guyana, the court has to be a little bit more proactive in terms of their rulings. That is, their rulings cannot be colorblind rulings in a society that is not colorblind. Your rulings can't be as if you're in a democratic society when you're living in an autocracy. And so a lot of the rulings of the court, I would say, are out of step with where Guyana is. And I've made that point over and over again. Thurgood Marshall, the first African American to sit on the Supreme Court of the United States, and the person who led the team that argued Brown versus Board of Education, he said his role on the court was to expand rights, not to contract rights. And so, in that sense, he approached the court with an understanding of the society that he lived in, and that it was a society that contracted rights, especially of African Americans. And so, being on the court, he said he has to, when the cases come before him that have to do with civil rights, he had to expand those rights. I want to give another example from the United States. The Chief Justice in the Brown case and several other cases, civil rights cases, Earl Warren, who was a former KKK grandmaster, and and he was put on the court, and he presided the Warren Court, presided over a lot of the rulings, a lot of the cases that tore down legal segregation. And the Warren Court took the position that when cases went before them by African Guyanese, they took the position that the assumption was made that America was a segregated and racist society in many ways. And so therefore, they did not put the burden on the African Americans going before them to prove racism. Prior to that, the court would tell African Americans, prove that racism, prove that the police stop you because you're black. The Warren Court took a different take. It accepted that structural racism was part of the American society. And so therefore, it removed the onus on African Americans to prove that they were racist. I think our court system, especially in Guyana, has to take cognizance of the structural racism and structural discrimination against the poor in our society. And the fact that they're not doing that, they're making some bad rulings. Now take this case. This case is about people who had been living and making a living on public lands, what they're calling state lands. Nobody's doubting that, right? The government came in and the government said, we want this land to build a highway, right? And you all will have to move. 8 of the people decided, look, we are not moving. The government stopped reasoning with people. In fact, they never reasoned with the people. They came and they gave a directive. And these 8 people said that they're not moving. The government didn't go and reason with them and talk them out, talk them through it. The government used force as a first resort. There's no evidence that they went to those people and said, look, man, I know what you all are saying, but let me sit down and see how we can work this thing out. Let's come to a compromise. Instead, they send the state force in, demolish the people's homes. But it's not just the demolition of the homes. They demolish the people's livelihood. People are making a living. They weren't just living in these homes. They were making a living. People had business, selling, mining cows and pigs and so on. They had, shops there. So you weren't just demolishing their abodes. You were demolishing their livelihood. And the government did not exhaust all avenues before the use of force. That's 1. 2, the people themselves did not use force. I noticed Ramkaran said that some bomb or something, I don't know if it's bomb, something was thrown, I think. But the people did not attack the government. They were basically saying, we're not moving. And its government has to find avenues to compromise with the people. Yes, it's government land, but it's the people's land. The government is just a trustee of public lands. Public lands are owned by the public. And so if the government, eminent domain, said that, look, we want this thing to develop, and the people said, well, we're not moving, then you got to reason. And you got to exhaust all avenues. The government did not do that. It used force prematurely, destroyed people's homes, and destroyed their livelihood. The people then moved to the court for relief. This matter was not just about whether the people were right or wrong to stay on the land. It was whether the government, in pursuit of the public good, as they claim, that, look, these highways is for the public good, whether you took into consideration the people's rights the human rights under the Constitution. And so the case was much more complex than a straight case of the government want the land, the people said they're not moving, and the government used the force and so on. And so they deserve nothing. These were people, they weren't millionaires. When you knock down their houses and take away their livelihood, they can't wake up tomorrow morning and go in the bank and draw out millions and rebuild. They're poor people. The court did not take that into consideration. And so the court made a black and white ruling. The government want to use the land. The government has that power of eminent domain. You didn't move. You lose everything. You have no compensation. That's the law of the jungle. At worst, at best, it's a law that didn't take into consideration the people as real people. And who are they? They're poor people. If the court doesn't give them relief, where are they going to get relief? Like I said, they can't go to the bank and draw down money and start life all over again. They would have lost earnings. They have children. They're poor people. So the court could have reasonably said, okay, you were wrong. You were wrong because the land belonged to the government. But the government was also wrong in not exhausting all avenues. Because as I remember, these people are asking for more money than they give the others. Did the government sit down with them and say, you're asking for more, we're going to try to meet it 3/4 way or halfway? No. So the court had to look at all the circumstances, and the court could have come to a conclusion that the people should have moved off the land. But the government should have exhausted all avenues and should not have used force as a first resort. That force should have been used as a very, very last resort. Failure to do that. The court has ruled in favor of the strong over the weak. The state, the government, they're strong. They're strong, and the court has made a ruling in favor of the strong against the weak. The government destroy these people's properties, destroy their livelihoods, put them at great strain that they may not recover from for the next 15 years or so. And the court did not take that into consideration. How can you look at 8 poor families and a strong government that use force, physical force against them, destroy their land, and you're going to make a ruling with no compensation for the poor? None. That's a ridiculous ruling. But it's in keeping with the way our court, especially the High Court, has been ruling. Justice Sandy Kissoon, when he made that ruling in favor of the teachers, he broke with that conservative approach of the court. He broke with it. He looked at the circumstances and he said, no, you cannot take away money from these teachers. You can't punish them for going on the streets and asking for more pay. You cannot stop checking off Jews. And furthermore, I'm summoning you to go and negotiate with these teachers. Because what the court did in that instance it looked at the circumstances. And it said, here are teachers not earning enough. Here is a government not respecting collective bargaining. And so therefore, the court, wherever the union may have erred, the court came down on the side of the weak against the strong. And I don't think in this ruling the court acted in the way the court acted in the teacher's case. And this is what we face. It is a court that is not looking at the political and social situation in the country. It is what we call in law strict constructivists. The law says this, and the law says the government has eminent domain. You didn't respect it. The government bulldoze your house, destroy your property. That is immaterial. What the court has done here is that it has given the government license to continue going around the country whenever it needs lands and people are on those lands to destroy, use violence against them. That's what this court has potentially done with this ruling. I want to say public lands, let me repeat. Public lands is not government land. Public land is state land. The people are part of the state. In a sense, the people were squatting on their own land. The court has to show an understanding of the issues. Public land is not government land. Public land is people land. I had Henry Jeffrey on my program last night, and he was saying, he said, when he was housing minister, the Jagan government said, look, regularized people were squatting on lands. Don't throw them off, because it's their land. They're not squatting on private property. They're on public property. So I think the court has erred badly. I haven't seen the written ruling. Somebody suggested yesterday on my program, the lawyer should have did not argue the case properly. I wouldn't say that. I didn't listen, but I'm sure the lawyers would have made a persuasive case. And even if the lawyers didn't make a persuasive case, the court cannot encourage the state under any circumstances to violate human rights. If a murderer, until he is put to death, he has his human rights intact, or she has her human rights intact. These people didn't commit murder. They didn't commit murder. They didn't put the government at any risk. If we don't move, Venezuela will come in tomorrow. If we don't move, the government will fall. Their action did not amount to clear and present danger for the government. I am not a lawyer. And I could, in my layman, go through as I'm doing here now. And if the court had taken that into consideration, the ruling would have been different. So the question here is not the bias of the judge. I don't think the judge is biased. It is the philosophy that the judge is using when it comes to these matters. You cannot, in a society that is socially imbalanced, a society that is rife with social discrimination, come down on the side of a government that is behaving in an autocratic manner. You can't. You can't. You can't. And so I think it's a bad decision. I think this will go down as one of the worst decisions in the modern history of the court.
As part of the decision from the little reportage that I got, the Chief Justice is saying that as I would say, the matter was badly filed, in that she's saying what they should have filed for is damage to property, because the state did damage their property. But the filings that they did wasn't in relation to damage to property, and so they did not make their case. But our clients, what is interesting is that these people's properties were damaged and they were ill-treated, all in the name of the construction of the road which we now call Heroes Highway. And the argument was that the lands that they occupied stood in the path of the road being constructed. We've seen the end of the construction of that road. We've seen that the area that was quote unquote disputed is, as we would say, miles away from the road. But we've also learned that a number of friends and associates and cronies, as we like to say, of the PPP have now been allocated lands along that path. And recently we've heard of all kinds of allocations. This person got 30 acres and that person got 5 acres and 10 acres and so on. And we had that big, what I just say, expose of the government mismanagement, if I can call it that, misappropriation of the people's land, as is evident by the Ahmad scandal, as I want to call it, the Dr. Baldio scandal, as I want to call it, the resignation of Shorwin Greaves, the CEO of CHP, and so on and so forth. What are your thoughts on all of this corruption being revealed?
The court will say, bring another case on that issue. The court is dealing with the issue before it. It's not dealing with that case. That if that information that you've given there warrants a different case before the court. And I sometimes wonder about the lawyers we have, because back in my time when I came into political activism, the people like Peter Britton and B.O. Adams and Dude Nat Singh and them would have taken up that case long time. So that's for another case. The case that was before them, even if the lawyers brought the court, understanding the human rights implication, should have given leave to the lawyers to adjust their case before the court. The court has that discretion. This is the second time, and when the opposition in the petition missed the deadline with Granger and the signing and so on, my argument then was that you do not throw out a matter of such importance. Election is about who governs, who gets what, where, and when. And if there is a procedural error, you give the lawyers time to correct the error. You don't throw the case. And if she's saying in this case, they brought the case badly, give them leave to correct it. Do not throw it because you're dealing with people's human rights here. There are times when you may throw cases of technicalities, but on issues of human rights, on issues of what our election was decided by one seat. One seat. Is that like 10 seats? And the court could say, well, even if I don't give you leave and I go through with the case, it won't make a difference, and so on. One seat. You do not throw out a case on technicality when it comes to serious matters like that. And this is where I have a problem with the ruling. And if she's saying, as I keep saying, if she's saying that it was badly put, then she should have given leave for them to correct it, as she should have done with the petition case. As they say in court, I rest my case. Your thing is not on.
Yes, I'm also asking you to comment on these recent revelations of let me just call it land corruption or distribution or corruption in land distribution.
I use the word, I use the term structural racism. And there are structural problems in Guyana as regards there's something you did there and the feedback has come back. I'm sure it's something that you're fiddling with at your end. It went and you fiddled with something just now. It's gone. All right, it seems to have gone now. Right. Look, the whole thing of the rich in society and their access to those in power is as old as human society. The rich has always sought to buy favors from government. And as we move further and further into the 21st century, elections have now become a business. People give you money and they expect that when you win, you are going to do favors. And our laws in Guyana are very lax. They're very lax. First of all, we have no campaign finance laws that limits how much you can give to a campaign. And so in a structural way, buying favors is now very much part of our political system. So that's one factor. The second factor is that we have a government whose philosophy is driven by a belief that part of the role of government is to transfer resources to their supporters disproportionately. Again, transferring resources to your supporters is as old. If I'm in government and people vote for me, damn well, I'm transferring resources to them. But I will do it within the confines of the law. One, I will ensure that when I am doing it, I do not discriminate against others. And the PPP is driven by a philosophy that it is prepared to bend the law, to ignore the law, in order to transfer resources to its supporters. So when you have a government whose philosophy is to transfer resources to its supporters in a discriminatory way, and you have people who are prepared to buy resources by giving money to political parties, then what you have created there is a structural giveaway of resources to the powerful in society. We are in a very, very bad place. That even when the PPP leaves office, there's a lot of cleaning up to do. We have to pass a lot of laws to restrain government. The PPP, as Nandal has argued, they were acting within the law. But you can thief. And if the law gives you permission to thief or gives you scope to thief, you thief. You thief within the law. That's what they call it, white collar crime. The point is, I see my mother on Good Morning Mommy, She don't come on to me program because my program starts at 7 o'clock and she just drop asleep at 6 o'clock and wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. So she there every morning for a new program. Every morning you're there on Kidaki program. We don't come on me program, but I love you still. It's not because my mother had the right to beat me. My mother beat me one time, as I said publicly. I eat out a whole jar of nut butter, peanut butter. And her thing was that even if I eat out half, she wanna beat me. But me eat out all. And that's the only time my mother ever beat me. The point I'm making, it is not that because my mother has the right to beat me, I'm her child. She has the right to beat me. But as we would say in the community, oh God, you gonna kill him. The wisdom behind the question, oh Lord, you go kill him, is that there is a place where parental scolding stops and the rights of that child begins. So even if the law allows for transfer of resources, even if the letter of the law allows you to do that, the spirit of the law precludes you from doing it. And what this government has been doing is that they have been ignoring the spirit of the law in many regards. In some regards, they ignore both spirit and letter. In some regards, they ignore the spirit once they can get around the letter of the law. So we're in a very bad place, very bad place. If this is a legal issue, but it's also a wider political issue.
Thank you again, Dr. Hines. It is now 11 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. And of course, we can't proceed. We can't talk about all of the things, but we can talk about the fact that elections preparations seems to be going full speed ahead. People are still concerned about the absence of biometrics on the clean voters list. And certainly, the WPA has committed to coalition politics. It has had a meeting with the PNC and they have made certain commitments. People are asking why this rush, to collate to go into an election without a clean voters list. Explain for us the rationale, first and foremost, behind the, I would say, commitment that has recently been made by the WP to coalition politics. And then, if time permits, let's talk a little about the list and preparation.
But I hope not too many people are asking that question. I am very confident that our people understand that in politics, you don't throw your egg in one basket. As in life, you don't do that, right? And we have said over and over again, and I think our people understand that we are fighting for a clean machinery, but we are also preparing. Because you don't wait until you get the clean machinery and then you start preparing. You can't do that. So you have to do them simultaneously. And that is what we have been doing. Now, the matter of GCOM is no longer a matter of, argument and trying to be, reasonable. This is now a political matter. And it will have to be settled politically. There's no other way. The PPP has made it clear that they are using their control of GCOM to deny biometrics and to deny a voters list. And they're doing it for political reasons. That is, they're using the loopholes in the law, as I just said. They're using the loopholes in the law in order to achieve a political agenda. And so our response on our side has to be a political response and a legal response. So yes, I think we should go to court and ask the court whether GCOM can fix the election date. Because in effect, that's what GCOM is doing. We should ask the court whether when there's a collision between a free and fair election and meeting the timeline for the election, whether the timeline trumps preparation for a free and fair elections. I think these matters should go before the court. But we also should litigate this case in the realm of public opinion, meaning the people. We should put our people to protest. We can decide what forms the protest will take, but we should put people on the road. I've said on my program that if we put 10,000 people in front of GCOM, the next day, you get, you get biometrics. You're not doing nobody nothing. 10,000 people sit down in front of GCOM. Sit down. And we're not moving. I mean, we have the instances of the civil rights movement in the United States. We have the instances of the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. We had the Gandhi example. Put your people there and let them sit down. Don't move. The next day they begin to move on biometrics. Of course, they have the other option of slaughtering people on the road, which you can't put past this government. But the chances of them doing that with 10,000 people on the road are slimmer than if you have 15 people, 20 people on the road making noise. So we feel that we have to litigate the case in the court of public opinion. We also have to litigate the case in the court of those who came to Guyana in 2020 and fiddled with our election in the name of democracy. And we have to go to them and say, come and fiddle now. You fiddle then? Come now. We want you to fiddle now in the name of democracy. Biometric is a democratic right. A clean voters list is a democratic right. And you upheld what you call democratic rights in 2020. We tell you, come and do it now. So we litigate our case in the courts, the judicial branch. We litigate it among the people, and we litigate it among the stakeholders in the Caribbean and further afield.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. It was a two-part discussion, WP and coalition.
Well, what about WP and coalition? The feedback is come back. Every time you fiddle with that thing, the feedback comes back.
No, once the mic is up and you talk, it's going to basically.
All right, well, turn down the mic a little bit.
Well, I have to mute you and then talk to you and then unmute you.
All right.
Good. You said something?
What is it you want about it? Want me to comment on it in regard to the WPA?
WP has been in the news recently as committing to that coalition with the PNC. While some people say ASC is still dancing in the sand around coalition. And the question is, while our supporters or many of our supporters believe that coalition is the way to go, the question is, why enter into a coalition when, for example, the WP is saying right now, we're still uncomfortable with any arrangement that would ask the WP to return to the APNU. Why? How can you collate with the PNC and you're still saying that you're uncomfortable with the APNU?
I'm trying to get the drift of the question. Anyway, the APNU is a partnership which we were part of. It didn't work for us as a party. And there are all kinds of reasons that we've talked about. One of the things that we didn't talk about and that we don't talk about, and I'm going to say it now, WPA is not in parliament today because it was part of the APNU. We work our tails off at the election. When the elections were over, the leader awarded us one seat. He asked us who should occupy the seat. We gave him two names. We said we're going to split the seat in half. The first half, one member will take the seat, and then he would resign halfway, and then Sister Sarabo would occupy the seat. We said to him, if you give us a second seat, we told him the same thing. I think the two people we proposed was yourself and Brother Dion. He gave us one seat, but then award the seat to Sarabo against our wishes. We work. In the first place, we deserve more than one, but you give me one seat. And we said, this is how we want our seat. And you take it and give it to Sarabo. Sarabo then promptly resigns from the WPA and gone with the WPA seat. We repeatedly wrote to Granger, asking him to recall Sarabo because she's no longer the WPA and the seat is the WPA seat. That man has not even answered us. Why would we go back into an APNU that may do that to us again? We have to secure ourselves. He couldn't do that to the AFC because the AFC signed on the dotted line. He couldn't do that to the AFC. The AFC was not part of the APNU. But he could do it to the WPA because we were subsumed in the APNU. But we're not playing that now. I'm not saying that Brother Aubrey will do that. In fact, if you ask me, I do not think that Brother Aubrey will even think about going down that road. I don't think he's made of that. But we are saying we are finished with a gentleman's handshake. And once we go back into the APNU, we are subsumed under something that is based on a handshake. So we are for contesting the election with whoever else, AFC, APNU, PNC, but we are not going to be caught in that. We are not in parliament today. A lot of people don't know that. I hear people are cussing Asha Kisoon. And Asha Kisoon is squatting. Sarabo is squatting too. But she's not squatting there because she decided this is what she going to do. Granger put her there against our wishes. And when we point out to him, but we don't have a seat, this lady has left our party, he has refused to correct it. And he's no longer active in politics, but he holds on to the leader of the list in order to do things like that. If that leader of the list was turned over to Norton, the WPA would have been in parliament. Because we agreed that if the seat is turned over to us, it would have been split between yourself and Dion Abrams, because the other brother is no longer interested in going to Parliament. And a lot of your supporters there are saying Kidaki should be in. If it were not for Granger, Kidaki would be in Parliament now. But Granger did that to us. And we have to let people know it. We are very careful not to say it, but Henry Jeffrey raised it in his column. He's the only one. Everybody, Asha Kisoon. But they forget that there is another squatter there. And in fairness to Sister Sarabo, it is Granger who allowed that to happen. Just as GCOM has allowed Asha Kisoon to squat. Granger is the one that is responsible. Because okay. So we said it would have been split in two. At halfway, Sarbo was supposed to go second. Well, you put her, she go first. At halfway, say, well, Sarbo, the party that you belong to. In any case, if you were still in the party, you would have had to demit at halfway. He refused to do it. We wrote him. I think the present PNC leader sent out feelers to him. The man has not budged. Has denied us a seat. And so we are not allowing that to happen. Again, I repeat, it is my personal view that Aubrey Norton would never do something like that. It's my view. But they never say never. The likelihood of Aubrey doing that is less. But again, once bitten, twice shy, as we say in them old ladies say, water na carry me lap 2 times. So we have to fortify ourselves, just as the AFC fortified itself in 2015, 2020, and they're likely to do this time.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. It is now 26 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. It's usually around the time when we open up the lines. Before I do that, there are a number of things I want to do. Denise is asking, at what time does, or at what point in time does Granger cease to be the leader of the list? When the next list is submitted? Dr. Hines, I muted you, so we didn't hear what you said.
When the new parliament meets, until that time, once the parliament is prorogued, when the parliament is prorogued, he ceases to be the leader of the list because the members cease to be members of parliament. But again, the law allows him to do that, the letter of the law. But the spirit of the law, the man ignored the spirit of the law. Maybe because he want to punish the WPA. I don't know.
Thank you.
Winston Jordan is making a point here.
Yes, I was about to share it with viewers. When Sharon Larson, AFC member, was booted out of Parliament, he was replaced by a PNC member, former Mayor New Amsterdam, who contested the last local government elections on a PPP ticket.
Yes.
The AFC was formed by 3 persons who each went with the seat of their respective parties. Politics and the bigger picture.
Yes, the WPA suffered then. Kemraj held on to a PPP seat. Trotman held on to the PNC seat, and Sheila Holder held on to the WPA seat. So twice the WPA get caught with that thing. Twice. And that is why I have said, look, in politics, we have to be above board sometimes. Because that thing that Sharon Das did, it was within the letter of the law, but it was against the spirit of the law. You're part of a government that include other parties. You are dissatisfied. You are bringing down a government that include other people. You didn't even have the moral right to bring down an AFC government. But you bring down a government that include other parties. And that is against the spirit of the law. The letter of the law allows him to do it. But if our court, again, was a court that was thinking outside the box, the court would not have upheld that no confidence vote. Because it's against the spirit of the law. You go in as part of a list. You did not contest your seat. You were given the seat by the leader of the list. And all you needed to do, if you're dissatisfied, give back the leader of the list his seat. But you then use a loophole in the law to bring down an entire government. It's immoral. And it's against the spirit of the law. And I don't think, I hope people have listened. WPA has said, the only party that has so far said, that if we win this election and we are part of government, we have given our pledge to the people who will vote for us, that under no circumstances would we bring down the government via no confidence vote. The other parties have not given that undertaking. But there's a reason why the WPA has given that undertaking. Is that we want to set an example. And we are prepared to sign that on the dotted line. Because it's wrong, it's wrong.
Thank you. It is now 29 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour, Dr. Hines. I'm about to move the lines, but as usual, any comment you want to make on any other issue before we do so?
No.
Thank you, viewers. The lines are now open. You're free to send your WhatsApp and you're free to make your calls. We have a WhatsApp to start with.
Good morning.
Bear in mind that I'm not hearing whatever you're playing. I'm not hearing it.
Sorry, Dr. Hines, did I hearing it, you said?
No, I'm not hearing. Whatever you're playing, I'm not hearing.
All right, well, I'll start it back from top. Are you hearing it now?
No.
Still not hearing it?
I'm hearing it now.
I think we should look at it. I believe you're asked for argument of charge. I think then, and you know I'm a businessman. And if you want to share my business, there's no way ideas, execution, at the same time, I think that's the issue. Deciding execution, I think it doesn't make sense.
Thank you for your voice note. I don't know. Usually, when I play voice notes from the computer, you hear them. I don't know what's happening. Why it is you're not hearing them this morning?
But I heard them. I heard them, but it's very choppy. He was breaking up.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly. Call on.
Good morning, Mr. Doctor. Good morning, Mr. Hines.
Call, you need to mute the device you're listening to behind you.
Okay, Mr. Doctor. I have a few comments to make this morning. I think we should more with Mr. Granger because I already know what Mr. Granger did. And I think we should just move ahead with what I got. Now, firstly, what is it I want to ask Mr. Hines? What is he prepared for the opposition them to do to get GCOM to bring the biometric and the clean voters list if they refuse it? Because it looked like that it didn't help them to just rig the election for the PPP this year. But that's my comment, and secondly, I wanna know that why Ms. Judge always throwing out the opposition cases from the court when she knew she cannot be confirmed because they would never confirm her, right? The health then does not confirm her. So I don't know what she's trying to do, right? So I just want to Mr. Hines to clarify that what is it and what the nature they will do to insist that the thing will be a fair election by biometric and voting voters list. Thank you.
Thank you. Calling on. Caller, you're on.
Yes. Good morning to both of you guys and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. This is Flash Garden. We cannot move on what David Granger did. No way, Flash Garden will stop me at that. And I'm with Mr. David Hines. We gotta face reality and fact. Seven does represent the word upon that. Seven does get help. When the 10 help Chairman does for do that nonsense, tell we all Flash Garden. We always remember, let yesterday be today. Seven does said at the border basement in Canada that when the 10 asked him to take the job, are you still there?
Yes.
He said no. He said no to Wamatan. Wamatan said, don't worry, I take the job. He take the job. Wamatan, he said, okay, bye, and move on and call David Granger. I said, look, something come to my attention and we have to put a stop to it now. But we understand, no. We understand long time and has to do what he did. So we got to talk about it. David Granger was not a politician. He wasn't even a smart man because no smart man, a crackhead, would have never seen her come out the 47 box and step down. A crackhead would have never allowed a next prime minister come and tell a president, step down with dignity, that there would always be a next election. We never talk about these things, my black brother sister. So next election, we have to know what we stand for. And we always said, Mr. Amsterdam should be prime minister to find them and jail them. And I know if Mr. Amsterdam become prime minister, black people go get back all the money and all the work and judgment go to happen. No politician would never said what you bring to the table. That is nonsense, my black brother sister. Garbage. Don't matter if a party is a party, and you don't have no little party in the party. Party is party. If me stand for big coalition, don't care if I bring nobody. What about my friends and family? Not counting them to come to the party. What about the neighbors them? They were going to make a lot of mistakes, but that is okay. But we will always talk about it. And yes, I always said, I want enough coalition between WPA and PNC. One Britain twice side, don't see things in the day and wait till night time for look for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. Dr. Hines, any comments?
Well, yes, there was one caller that asked what we are doing about about the biometrics. We as has been in the news, the PNC and the WPA met last week, and we addressed the issue, and we agreed that we have to push back on all three fronts. We have to push back in the courts. We have to push back at the level of the people. I don't want to say street because there are many ways to protest, but we have to push back at that level, and we agreed that we have to engage the CARICOM heads of government, especially those who got themselves involved in 2020, and those further afield international organizations. We didn't want to make a decision on what to be done at the level of the leaders. We wanted to democratize the process. So we have set up a task force of members of the PNC and the WPA, and they are to consider what action should be taken and make recommendations to us for ratification. And we hope to do that within, we're coming on the Mashramani thing and so on. So we hope to do that within another week and a half to 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm not hearing, so just bear that in mind.
Caller. You have a bad connection. Please start over. Are you there? All is bad. We have a voice note.
Good morning, Dr. Hines and Mr. Kadaki. I just want to say this morning. You know, when you look at what is really going on in this place, most of these things are being enabled by our own Black brothers and sisters. And even members of our leaders, some of our leaders. Because when you look at this thing with the Moko case, with those people, this woman, Roxanne George, with that they call the Chief Justice, she is not for the people, especially African Guyanese. And she always ruled in favor of the government. Then, at one point, you're finding leaders coming to tell you go and stand up for this very woman that throws us under the bus on numerous occasions. Are we serious? Are we real? What is really going on? What is happening to our leaders, the people that we put to lead us? We voted for them. And you would find them instead of fighting, they're just there tearing down each other. Look at them who trying to farm out of parties and all kind of madness before they embrace the one that we have to get rid of these people that are killing us every day. Yes, you know you want position, you want whatever it is, but at this point, we have to put that aside and fight with unity. What is really going on? Everybody power drunk, they just want power. And not the people who voted for them in Sudan. We are our worst enemy at this point. And unless we decide that we're going to take a stand and we're going to move away from this, from that, I don't know. I really don't know what will happen to us. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, your voice note. I have other voice notes. Let me see if I can get them played. What are you on?
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, on the subject of biometrics, I think you really need to let the audience know that you need a constitutional amendment to implement biometrics on voting day. And another thing, Dr. Hines, as an aspiring presidential candidate, I cannot understand you sit here and having your callers crucifying the Chief Justice ruling. It's not right. Suppose if it was the other side were doing it, you would get a big storm about it. But you were sitting here and attacking the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice made a ruling. Why don't you appeal it? Thank you, gentlemen.
Care to respond, Dr.
Yes, I sometimes wonder what people are listening to. I went to Pains this morning to say that we should not attack the Chief Justice. We should not attack the courts. That we should disagree with the ruling as I have done. And that what is driving the court is not a political agenda. I do not believe that Roxanne are doing like that, people. I do not believe that a political agenda. I think she has a philosophy that I'm calling a philosophy. Please try the feedback. Yes. I do not believe that she has a thing. I believe she's driven by a conservative philosophy, like most jurists in the English-speaking Caribbean. I went to pains to say that I am not encouraging this audience, African Guyanese, our supporters, to attack to demonize our institutions. I gave the example of how the PPP demonized the army and the police. And it came back to haunt them when they tried to get Indians to go in the army and the police, and they wouldn't go. Where was this scholar? Where was this scholar? He comes here now and makes this accusation against me. It is people's right to disagree with a ruling. And you can disagree with a ruling without demonizing the justice and demonizing the court. And that is what I have done. And that is what I encourage people to do if they disagree with the ruling. But do not attack the person of the Chief Justice. Where's this chap coming from? Sometimes some of you all need to bag your face. Because it's either you all don't listen, or you believe some or the other that people like myself wicked. I've been in politics for 50 years. And I don't need you or nobody to lecture me on political etiquette. I can do the same to you. I need to lecture you.
Okay, Dr. Those who listen to the program frequently would recognize the voice as one who always calls to represent the PPP squads. But it stands still. We allow them to have their way. This is the guy who said that you should come home if you want to be president and this and that and the other. While you're living in the US and every day you're in Guyana political
and
business.
He's talking like an American. I live in
Of course, you live here. Just live here.
And he's talking like a freshwater Yankee and telling people, these people are so shit.
Yes, I just allow them to expose themselves. And that is why I allowed you to respond to him. That is why I allowed you.
He was a lick bottom.
Yeah. So how did them bottom Peters? So you go.
The Chronicle headlined me today on the lick bottom thing that I borrowed from Crow. And they're so stupid. They spread the word for me because I wanted to go wide and far on these black people who seeing a government declaring war on their people and they're going over and they can be nothing else but lick bottom. And when you all see them on the road, that's what you almost call them. The Chronicle put it, big headline, David Hines called black people who don't agree with his politics lick bottom, and I'm glad they helped me spread the word. I want to come every night from the program and put an article in the Chronicle. Stupid. He cussing you on black people. Well, I can't call them Nimakaran because that's not an African word. But I can call them lick bottom because that's part of our colloquial. They can call Indians who come over to the PNC Nimakaran and a traitor and whatever else they just call them. But I can't call me Nimakaran them lick bottom. All of a sudden they love black people. Look how we talking about young people. And these are people they just abuse and cuss nasty, hungry belly, and so on. I have the right to scold my people. I earned it. I earned it. I have the scars to show. And if black people doing stupidness, they're going to hear from me. As I said, I people like Shirley Edwards and Clinton Ballymore and those people been in the PPP all the time. Those people take blows to the PPP. They're not lick bottoms. They've been in the PPP. The lick bottoms are the ones who get up now to save their asses and to look after, grease their hand and wherever else they're greasing. They're going on the PPP bandwagon. And it's there the lick bottoms. And I tell you, I'm repeating a story and they're going to get a rude awakening. I hope not, because they're not going to win the election. A certain cook shop man, apparently this is a PPP top leader. He said, David, a certain cook shop man came and he said, he coming over to we. But I promise you that if we win, he going to get cabinet. And if we lose, he going to get parliamentarian. I said, what you do? What you tell you? He said, I tell you, I can't promise you neither parliamentarian nor cabinet. But the one thing I can promise you, black people going to stop by your soup. So you know who I'm talking about. And indeed, black people stop by your soup. And this is a top PPP leader telling me the people know what they're doing to them. The people know what they're doing to them. Jack Dio told me that at the stadium. He said, the one thing I can promise you, they're going to start buying soup. They know that when they catch these people, they're putting these people at the mercy of their own people. They know what they're doing. They know that when they bring them over, black people are going to have a certain reaction. They know. He said, I promise you one thing I tell you, I can promise you. Black people gonna stop by soap. And black people stop by the soap for 2-3 years. And there was a soap place. When you got them in there, you don't get car, place to park car. But he decided to play that and he get good sense. He pulled back from it. But these bottom people here, lick bottom people, when you all see them, call them lick bottom. Because that's what they are. And the people know they're using them.
Carry on.
Yeah, morning, morning, Dr. Hines.
Good morning, sir.
You know, that, I formally agree with Dr. Hines with what they say concerning the last caller. It's sad to know I just disagree with y'all at times, and so, but I just got to remember that the works that y'all putting out, knowing that y'all got to, find the time to educate and to enlighten us without getting a cent, for y'all works, and to know it got some of us knowing that we do have a platform, that more than one platform, because we can't, these things that y'all telling me, we can't hear them on DPI, we can't hear them on NCN, we can't hear them, that even the trolls, those who support the government, there's listen to these programs. Dr. Hines, Brother Kadaki, Brother Cheryl Duncan, Mark Bensab. You know why? Because this is the side where the truth is be told. This is the side where the truth is be told. And to know some of our brothers and sisters, especially our Afro brothers and sisters, could come on these programs and dictate that one doing and feel like they're so, they feel so down and they feel so fed up with where you are, that y'all are doing enough, and to know that they're contributing nothing. They're supposed to feel so comfortable and give y'all flowers to know that even self-being agree with certain things that y'all saying and them kind of thing, or the pace with certain things like moving, we're supposed to cognizant of the fact that y'all doing a heck of a job, because all this skinning up, we see the skinning up going on the government and them kind of thing, is because of y'all. It's because of y'all. And we're supposed to get the respect and get the kind of consciousness to know that we're not going to agree with everything, but y'all doing a damn good job in bringing the facts to us. Look the amount of revelation that's going on for the past couple of days, Brother Kadaki, and that time. Look the amount, and it's all because of y'all. And to know that people like the last call will come on program and talk like if they contributed so much. And this is why this tell you, Brother Kadaki, got some people, I just read in the comment section and them kind of thing, need to block them. And just as that time said, them lick behind people, lick PT and things. They need to be called out like that. Because look what's going on. Look what's going on now. And y'all doing a very good job. A very, very good job. Brother Flash, I don't agree with everything what Brother Flash just said, but you know why this respect he for? When he come on the program, he just say one thing with our blood brothers and sisters, don't be afraid. Help is on the way. And then you would go into other things that you would want to talk and ventilate feelings and them kind of thing. Brother Kadaki don't agree with Brother Flash every time neither. I see it's fully up on them kind of thing. You understand? We got to ease with this thing and realize the works is not the easy works y'all just be putting out. Y'all get family, y'all get cheering and all kind of thing. Y'all get to the guns and people need to respect them. Y'all get to the gun, y'all don't get paid for them. Y'all is not parliamentarians. And they got to start respecting them. Why you expect that they're supposed to be doing the command? Try to whip up and try to energize. Help y'all to energize the people and thing. We just looking forward for these programs and them kind of thing in the manner where we hear y'all and Dan, how we just make me feel and them kind of thing, and to know that the brotherhood like they go come. And I just hear the brother for truth. There's got a lot of negative things to talk and thing. And you got to put them in the place. We have to put them in the place. Because it's not easy work y'all putting out. It's not easy work y'all putting out to all these wicked regime accountable and let we know what going on. Even the trolls can't resist these programs. They got to be on these programs because the truth is being told on these programs, and we got to remember them. Thanks very much for your time, and Brother Kadaki, and at times, y'all continue doing the good work, continue enlightening us, continue shining we. That could encourage me. Even self people like the Carlo would want think really, feel any feelings as Brother Mark to see he bombs raise plenty of a lot of enlightenment for us, and it is give us a lot, of insights and a lot of news we just get from y'all. Thanks very much.
Thank you for the call. All right, I have a few voice notes. It's 9 o'clock. I'll try to get them through, and then Dr. Hines will wrap up.
Karaki, blessings and good morning. Dr. Hines, blessings to you, my brother. There was a certain prime minister who looked like Bharat Jagdeo, said that the politics have a morality of its own. Yesterday was yesterday, today is today. Dr. Hines, I'm asking you this question. What measures that the coalition will implement when they take office so that these guys who thieving and doing all sorts of evil, what measures that the coalition will implement so that these guys will feel the full brunt of the law? Because what they're doing there is destroying the lives of people, destroying the country, making Guyana look really bad. So my concern this morning is what measures that the coalition will implement. Because you can't allow these guys to run around free. These guys you only have to set an example. So that's my take this morning, Dr. Hines. Have a good one.
Thank you for that voice note.
Good morning.
Sorry, we're doing voice notes now. No workout.
Dr. Diamond, Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, everything that you said about the coming election and GCOM is 100% correct. The PPP is in control of GCOM, and GCOM is doing the PPP's bidding. Jagdeo wanted biometrics and a clean voters list before 2015. And now they're in government, he doesn't want it anymore. The opposition should not go to a general election unless there is a clean voters list and biometric, because the PPP, they have a plan to rig the next election because they're enjoying the money from the wealth, the natural resources. They're having fun with it, they and their cronies. So they don't want all Guyanese to have that benefit. It's sweetened them. So it's time that all right-thinking Guyanese should come together to get out those crooks, those thieves.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning, Mr. Hines. I just want to make a few comments. Now, we all know Granger. He used to play a church brother. He used to play a church boy, but we didn't know this man so wicked and evil, because he has this country in this mess right now, right? Number one, he don't even have the manners to come and tell his supporter anything. He just disappear. Even one day come out to tell the people, well, he's sorry, apologize, nothing. He just throw in his mantle and give up. We don't want people a weakling to run our country. We need strong people. And what is it the coalition will do? And I think the coalition should join all hands on deck to get rid of these cabal people, these dictators who feel they own this country and just thieving out the resources to friends and family. And we need to stop them, hold them accountable for these nonsense they're doing. Barjak, do you think that he owns this country, in this nation, so he could do what he like and tell people what he wants and feel that, you know, he's so powerful? But this guy don't sleep. So I want to know what is it, because this wicked woman called is saying what she's doing is not fair, because she's supposed to hold some sort of integrity. She is in charge of GCOM. GCOM is an independent body. Now she want to hold with the PPP to rig the 2025 election. Suddenly she can't get biometric. She can't get voters list. Since the last election, this woman could have corrected that. But no, she premeditated not to do it because she know the skullduggery that the PPP them doing, and she in the hands of the pocket of the PPP. But we're going to hold her accountable, and each and every coalition supporter should come out and go in front of GCOM and protest each and every single day. People should come out in 1,000 and go in front of GCOM and protest and let you know it's not business as usual. She got to get it right. GCOM is an independent body. They need to hold free and fair election. But we already know what's going on because Barjagio done give her what we have to give her, so she done signing with them. But as I said, I want to know what the coalition going to do to hold this one accountable for biometrics and a clean voters list, because we're not going to go in an election with a bloated list. And I think that what we do is wrong, because most of us give the ID card and we pictures, and that most of them they're going to do. You know, the people, the PPP them, they are so detective and think they will use that and say you vote for them. Right? You see the 100,000 kind of share up to now, why you feel it collect a lot of people ID card, they take picture and all that, because they're going to use the election time for thing. So people need to get wise and get sense. Last thing, I want to know if the AFC going to join with the coalition, because the AFC cannot win no election on their own. It's impossible. They need to come together, all hands on deck, to kick out this installed regime. These people are so wicked and vindictive and so corrupt. People get fed up with them right now. Honestly, these people are so dictator that they're running this country anyhow, just stealing the resources, the friends, the family, the favorite, and the poor people suffering more. You know, this nonsense have to stop, and we have to do something about it.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, audience. This question is for Dr. Hines. Please, could you say, or could you let us know, or me personally would like to know, what's the latest day the government or the present government is allowed to announce the date of election? We know it's this year's election, but they have to announce a date. What's the latest they could do so? Thank you.
Yes, Brother Kidaki, good morning. I think there was a bad reception with the internet. I don't know if it is on my end or yours. But what I was saying is that I totally agree with Dr. Hines that there needs to be actions on the part of all the political parties. As a combined effort, it must be clear to GCOM that we do not and will not accept going into any election without a clean voters list and biometrics. I do not believe in the court, as the court always seems to be political. Not always, it is clear and evident that the court is political. And that case that is being sent to the court, that is in the court, I should suggest. There will be the return of article in favor of the PPP. I'm seeing that. So that the only thing I see now is political action on the part of the political parties and engaging the international community. You know, it is time that we pick up the embassies and the diplomatic missions and let them know this is our position. You understand? Because I don't think the Guyanese people do not want 5 more years of the PPP. We do not want that. And they are poised to win this election massively. Okay? So I'm saying my position is clear. Let us take to the streets in massive numbers. You got people already preparing to go into the elections. You want to commit suicide. It's like if you see a F-150 or a Raptor, if you know these two vehicles, coming with full speed and you're on it, that is exactly what's going to happen. So when you're going to go into the elections, and next thing you know, you're going to claim fraud, and they're going to say take it before a petition, and the petition will run till the next 6 years. I do not agree with his position that he don't believe in protest and picketing. He's got to change his position on that.
Good morning, Kidaki. Good morning, Dr. Hines. Kidaki, I do not know why you always entertain that caller. That Chief Justice is one of the worst judge I've ever met with or I've ever seen. Look what happened to those people, and yet she ruled against them, and then they have to find cause. What nonsense is this? Kidaki, stop entertaining the man because you know he's a cross, and they don't send him. They don't send him. Demon, get thee behind. Have a great one.
Good morning to that your listeners. You waste too much time with the chop there, man. Don't waste time with it. Waste a lot of time with it.
Good morning, Dr. Good morning, Honorable Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, kudos to you and the WPA. Dr. Hines, you're doing a wonderful job. Thanks for coming on board with the PNC. You understand me? Thanks very much. And we're looking forward for the rest of the parties then that join in this coalition. Because the coalition is the way to go. You understand me? Dr. Hines, thank you for your program that you had the last 3 Mondays. Very excellent, Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, you raised my eyebrow, you know, and the way that you're speaking out to African people in this country. I was open to see a Farrakhan in Guyana. And thank you for filling that gap. You understand me, Dr. Hines? Thank you so much. And thank you for encouraging other people from the other races. Thank you for enlightening them on what is going on in this country. And all of us have to hold hands together to get rid of this racial, vindictive, and thieving party out of government, installed party out of government. Pertaining to Mr. Mohammed, let me show you something, guys. Chinese people, that is just a front. They're the one of the most biggest party show. Any simple person in this country should ever take into consideration. That is just to get Mohammed out of the way, but I can't get the man out of the way. They can't come better than that. I see this guy critics doing all kind of nasty, dirty, stinking work for this installed governments, especially the vice president. He got him there anyhow. He's only a foolish Guyanese will believe what critics and that just sit down there speaking about Mohammed. Come on, Guyanese, let me wake up. You know, man, let me wake up. You can remember the installed vice president said that all the small puppies are popping up. You can deal with them. Anyhow, Guyanese, you reflect back on what this man said. You show it. I call on social media them to show what this man said. Concerning all the small parties. Nigeria use WPA all the attack already. The PNC attack Mohammed now. Again, anyhow, I calling on Mohammed to get a bunch of intelligent liars. The so critical to actually 300 million Guyana dollars of what you have done here. He ain't supposed to interview the girl. You understand me? In the first place, the girl, and he said that nobody don't want to interview her. And he had to hear what was come up with it. Yo, That is a puppy show. You understand me? That guy is a jackass. Critics is an idiot. You understand me? He just wanted to expose Muhammad. You understand me? Expose Muhammad. Anyhow, God is in charge, man. You know? Anyhow, Dr. Thank you back once again. WPA and the PNC, pick up yourself. Waiting for the other, really waiting for the rest of other parties to join. That is the way to go to get to the Sky government.
Thank you for your voice notes and your calls. It is now 14 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Dr. Hines, kindly wrap up for us.
They have to give overtime, pay for overtime. Again, a wonderful program. What I like about this program is that we get to hear from our people. We get to hear what our people are saying. And I can promise that, our party and myself as one of the leaders of the party, we put a lot of store on what you all are saying. We as leaders, in the end, have to make the decisions. But we can't make the decisions off the top of our heads. We have to listen to you all, the people, and that is the value of a program like this. And I always get insights whenever I come on here in the mornings. And so I want to thank you all. I mean, I sometimes tear up when I hear how frustrated you all sound, and people just sitting around and say, "Oh, Black people embracing development," and they just feel that we are jackasses. Everybody else, when they get beat up, they holler in and fight back. But somewhere they had in their head, Black people born to take blows, and every time they go down that road, I just get ready to take them on, more to take them on, because you don't disrespect people like that. To the gentleman who asked about the latest date the PPP has to call the election is November the 2nd, because it's even beyond that, because it is 3 months after the meeting of the first parliament. And I think the first parliament met sometime in September. And so they have 3 months after that will carry us into December. So technically, they have up to December to call the election. Jack Joe been saying November because, of course, they don't want to go close to Christmas. But they have up until December, 3 months after the first meeting of the parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hines, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in today to yet another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Tomorrow we'll have Mr. Winston join on as usual, and we'll talk about the economy and economics and all other things. And definitely on Friday, it's Free Talk Friday. Have a good one. Stay safe. Much love. Do you? I need to go and do me. Y'all stay good. Bye-bye.